let's do a lower back reset practice. So you can do this if you've been sitting at your desk or in the car too long and your back is feeling crabby. Perhaps one morning you wake up and your back is talking to you. What can you do? You can stand up and join me for this gentle practice. The one thing I would recommend you do is do this in bare feet or flat shoes. I'm going to step back so you can see me more easily. So we start standing, feet parallel and pointed straight ahead. Relax your arms by your sides. Begin by taking a deep breath. Breathe more deeply. Bring your hands to your belly so you make sure you're expanding the lower rib cage. You can let out a sigh or a sound with your exhale. Expand the lower rib cage, the chest, the back ribs. So take full breaths, expanding in all directions. So in resetting your back, so this is if something tweaky is going on, which these are good exercises to do every day to make sure your back is happy if you sit a lot, or if your lower back is something that generally is a weak spot for you. These practices are great for that. So I'm going to turn to the side so you can see there's a natural curve in my lower back, which we want to maintain. And resetting the back, we're looking at your neutral spine. I have other videos that support you in increasing your flexibility and your range of motion. But right now, the most important thing is to reset your body in your neutral alignment. So the alignment your body was designed to be in and is the strongest then. So if something is tweaky in your back, generally it's because certain muscles are overworking and other muscles are on holiday and not engaging. So this reset supports the full engagement of your core, which in my perspective is from your knees to your neck. We've got to learn to be strong and engaged in our core muscles. So that it isn't, commonly people are taught to suck the navel in to support their lower back, which often flattens the low back. We're not doing that today. So we're gonna support the natural curve in the lower back. So come to stand, feet a little wider than your hips, toes pointed straight ahead. Now we want to engage the inner line of the legs all the way up into the abdominal muscles. So with the feet pointed straight ahead, slightly bend your knees. Make sure your spine is neutral so you're not sticking your butt out. You're also not tucking your tail under, but you have a neutral spine. Knees slightly bent. Then without moving your feet or your knees, squeeze your legs towards each other. Feet and knees draw towards each other. So you're going to feel the inner line of the legs tone, which helps tone the pelvic floor muscles, which is a key part of lower back health. So you do that for 3 breaths and then you relax. So resetting, often one side will be hypertoned and the other side will not be working. So this reset engages all of the pelvic floor muscles, the upper inner thigh muscles. So let's do that again. Feet straight ahead, knees slightly bent. Squeeze the feet and knees towards each other so they're not moving. You're isometrically toning the muscles. Squeeze the legs towards each other. Lift, now lift from the lower belly all the way up to the heart, up through the crown of your head. If you don't know how to do that, just put your hand on your head and push from your lower belly up to the crown of the head. So we're actively making space. Then relax. So the next part, this is all meant to reset and support you in feeling good in your back. If it doesn't, don't do it. Because pain, in my perspective, is a sign that we're out of alignment. So this should all stabilize, support you in feeling better. If something doesn't feel right, stop immediately. Okay? Deal? All right, so the next one, you're gonna do the same thing. Feet hips distance apart. Bend the knees slightly, squeeze the legs towards each other, lift from the lower belly to the heart, to the crown of the head. If that feels good for you, you can take the arms up overhead. So we're moving energy from the lower belly down through the legs, from the lower belly up through the crown of the head, up through the arms. So that helps clear the hip flexor, which is part of what allows you to sit, walk, do all kinds of things. But if you sit a lot, the hip flexor gets bunched up. So this active standing, arms overhead, again, feet parallel, legs strong, squeeze the legs towards each other, tone the lower belly by lifting upward if that feels good. Stretch the arms up. So I'm moving actively in both directions, from my hips down to the feet, from the hips up, 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 up. So that helps clear the hip flexor, which is a key component of lower back health, as well as what gets crabby when our lower back is talking to us and saying mean things. All right, so one more, depending upon how you're feeling. So this one is active standing and taking one foot back. So based on where the camera is, you can't see it so much, but basically it's like the last one was like this, my legs were next to each other. This one I'm going to take one leg back a little bit, so I'm just going to balance on the toe behind me, so that clears the hip flexor even more. So the thing about that is it's building strength, supporting with legs, core, glutes, everything is engaged, but then I'm also stretching the hip flexor, and it helps clear the low back. Hooray! So what that looks like is I do the active standing, feet parallel, bend the knees, squeeze the legs towards each other without moving the knees or the feet, then push down from the hips to the feet, lift actively up from the lower belly to the crown of the head. That feels good. You take the arm up, so it's like I'm creating space in the hip flexor, creating space in the lower back, but I'm still neutral, right? I'm not back bending, I'm not tucking, I'm just neutral, so I'm resetting. Then I'm going to take one foot back, so I'm clearing, opening the hip flexor. Oh, it feels good. And then relax the arms down. Do the other side. So now I'm taking the right foot back, legs active, spine neutral, active lift up and engage. And breathe. Then arms down. The last one, which is a really good reset, again, where we're engaging all of the muscles, but then we're opening and stretching open the hip flexors, which are a key component in lower back health, as well as what gets whacked when our lower back is talking to us. All right, so this one you can do same way, engage the legs. This time you're going to bend the knees even more, so it's more like you're sitting in a chair without the chair. Feet and knees parallel to each other, squeeze the legs towards each other. So now I'm getting even more strength in the legs and the lower belly, lifting up. Then as I come up to stand, that feels good. I stretch the arms up. So I'm clearing the hip flexor. All right, so this is key work in resetting your back. So this is if something is tweaky, bothering you, the muscles feel imbalanced, but it's also solid things that you can be doing even just to maintain the health of your back. But there's a quick practice you can do to reset if something is not right. If you have any questions about this practice, please post it below. I'd be happy to support you personally. If you'd like to work with me, just let me know. You can go to soulpurposepath.com and we can set up a time. I can work with you over video, and I have done this with clients all over the country, and it's amazing that learning this alignment, learning how to support our bodies, right? Then we feel much better. Our energy is better. Our clarity of thinking is better, because pain is a bummer and it decreases our quality of life. So I'd be happy to support you. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you